Are you planning to study abroad in Australia? Then this video is going to be very helpful for you. Today we are featuring Mohini Majithia. She's the founder of CloConn Careers, a study abroad consultancy. So let's get started. Mohini, thanks a lot for joining us today. So we would be talking about Australia, and when we hear Australia, like it's always been a popular country. A lot of Indian diaspora is there already, and every year a lot of students are applying to join there, to join the universities in Australia. So what are the criteria for their selections? How universities select the best students from the applications they are getting every year? So can you shed some light on that?
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Vishnu, for inviting me here. Definitely, yes, I can put up some criteria, which are a few to be considered. But yes, we have wide range of criteria. But at the same time, yes, we can put in some. There are key factors which we can consider. Let's speak about the key factors. When we say that key factors, there are specific grade requirements that are important while Australian university admissions. And some prerequisites for courses, to choose the courses. Secondly, we would like to look into one important aspect which Australia looks into is providing valid scores for the test like IELTS, TOEFL, maybe IBT or PT, any of the scores. But they look into maybe not for the admission in the university, but yes, they are required, being stated for visa purposes, tests. Let me also put a very important highlight on this, and that is the test which are between 26th of July 2023 to 4th of May 2024. They won't be considered valid anymore because of the new norms that are coming up by Australian government, Australian Ministry of Home Affairs, and that is the reason why we will have to take new English proficiency scores. If at all you have that old scores, you definitely can look into those things. At the same time, one more thing that the Australian government or the Australian educational institutions or universities that look for is the genuine entrant. So it is called GTE requirement, that is genuine temporary entrant, which is very, very important, demonstrating your purpose for going to Australia. That is one thing that demonstrates your purpose for temporary. You are going for education and you have no ugly mind to go to Australia for any other reason. So that is one important aspect that they look into, the Australian government or the educational universities look into. So this is all about the key factors, I think, about the Australian universities while admitting all the international students, majorly Indians.
You told about purpose. So there are SOP for Australian universities also, right? So can you tell a
Yes.
little bit more about the SOP, like the writing style? Because students who are seeing this video would love to know it.
Yes, definitely. So SOPs, the requirement for SOPs is very, very important, but it is specific to universities. If it is University of Melbourne, it has its own requirement, and that is mentioned on its website. If it is University of Sydney, it has its own requirement. If it is Monash, it has its own important requirement. So let's consider that they have their own norms for SOPs. Basically, and it is very, very important to adhere to those norms that they have mentioned on their website. So there is where you require a counselor or you require a team where your application moves forward smoothly, and that is how you do it.
So a lot of students wants to join different courses there. Like some students are coming for specializing in, say, agriculture or new green courses. So how do you actually map the requirement of student with the universities in Australia? So what's the
So
process
here,
behind it?
yes, definitely we can put light on this also. But one thing we'll have to first assure is we cannot leave the documents. The documentation should be very clear when you are trying to get into such universities. So there should be no fake documents. They should be absolutely submitted accurately, and very clean, picture is to be uploaded, very cleanly scanned and uploaded. One thing for the documentation. Second is when we are overlooking the course preferences. This is one of the common pitfall that a student will face if you are not. Suppose you are going for medicine and you are trying to put in your first option as chalo engineering mein mil gaya, then it's fine. So definitely that doesn't work that way. You will have to, because you will get, if you put number one as your preference, your interest and your goal should be aligned with it. It cannot be that way. If you put in the number one as engineering, so definitely work that way. To, you will for sure have to align it accordingly. So one thing is very important. You have to align the rank, course, consider the rank, the course with your interest and goals. That is very, very important. Third important thing is to not misunderstand the regulations that are made for visa. So you need to stay updated on visa requirements and strictly adhere to those work limitations, the hours of work that is allotted, maybe 24 or 48, 490. So it depends on that limitations. Australia has limitations for work, and you cannot miss your classes and go into work. Or that is why when I mentioned that is genuine temporary entry. They require that demonstrating that you are genuinely interested in the course and not something else for going to Australia. And when we are speaking, now let me come to your question, which you said that how do you align the program or how do you align the career goals? So here what happens is choosing the right university is the very first criteria that a student has to look into. Secondly, align your selection with your career aspirations. Do not try to align it according to the job market in Australia. If you are requiring to go to medicine, you put in medicine. If you are requiring to go to finance, to put your first option or first preference as finance and nothing else. So choosing the right university, choosing the right program is very, very important to assess your career goals. Secondly, you need to identify your interest and the desired career path that you want to go ahead with. Well, they definitely would love you to explore the research programs, because Australia is well known for its research programs also that they offer. So it should align to your skills and knowledge. Third thing that we will have to look into is considering the reputation of the university. Definitely, maybe the ranking, maybe the evaluation of institutions based on the strength of your field of interest. That is how you go ahead, shortlisting the university and then apply for it. Let's say for that, you definitely can go ahead with some resources which are available on the university websites as well as on the other, you can definitely check out for the tools for your personal analysis, say, or maybe career alignment. And that is how you go ahead.
You hinted about the visa process. So the next question is about the same thing. We need a little more detail on it. So what's the timeline for the visa application process? Like when a student should apply for it, how much time it takes for securing the visa? So can you shed some more light on that?
So yes, regarding timeline, let me tell you, it's always better. Australia has two intakes, so it is always better to prepare. If it is not even Australia, if it is any other country also, otherwise, but it is always better to start preparing maybe 1.5 year earlier, so that your profile is that perfect for the universities, definitely. So yes, when we speak about Australia, let me come to Australia as your question is. So here for student, we call it a subclass 500 visa that we have to, the student has to apply for. He or she has to apply online. This visa application is online through the Department of Home Affairs website of Australia. And to provide a necessary things, let me tell you, the visa is never rejected unless and until we do not adhere by the rules. So whatever the law is, it says that you need to have the documents very clean and clear. One, the proof of financial capacity. Second is English proficiency test. Third is the confirmation of enrollment. So you will have to have just not the letter of acceptance, but yes, you will have to have the confirmation of enrollment, that is COE. This document is very, very necessary for visa to process quickly. At the same time, very, very important about all this, to go to Australia, they have a good health program for the students. They are supporters of, very quick supporters with respect to health related issues of the students. So they have a good program there regarding the student health issues or etc. As a quick help, they come ahead. So for that, we require one important thing, and that is health insurance, which should be at the place. So in case if your health insurance expires, you will have to immediately renew it well before time, before its expiry, or maybe immediately after the expiry. However, but this is one important document which a student should be precise with. So this is all about what you were saying about visa and the timeline you said. The visa timeline, it can be as quick as 3 months. Okay, or quicker than that. Let me tell you. Provided that your documents are very clean and clear. So it is very quick if you present these documents all on place. Let me add you with this student visa. The fee has increased nearly more than double now. It is somewhere approximately $1,600. Australian dollars. So it was initially $710. Now it has increased to somewhere around $1,600.
So this is actually a good warning to students to apply as fast as possible so that
Yes,
they don't
yes,
have
yes.
to pay double. So even the next question is
And yeah.
surrounding the same thing. It's about the financial aspect. So are there
Mhm.
part-time jobs available there plenty for students to be financially sound there? Because obviously the studying process requires a lot of money and parents have to send money from India to Australia. So how can they be financially sound over there when they are doing their studies?
So I split this question into important aspects. One is financial management tips. We can call it as financial management tips for the students. And second is part-time job opportunities. We can split it into two different sections. First, let me speak about the management tips that I give to students. By students, usually uh, take these tips very seriously. One is we categorize the expense into important aspects. First one is rent, utilities, or need based, you can call. One is need based category, and second is which we call as essential category as well. But second one is something where we take it as lifestyle based category, where all the leisure and entertainment, etc., comes under this category. So you need to very well balance this along with the budget that you have to spend there. First, the essential ones. Then, if you have some on your, table, think about something else. Definitely. So that is how we try to consider both the parts. But to add to your, uh, uh, what you call it, to reduce the expenses and to add to your own kitty, I will call. Students can help themselves by exploring multiple things. One is scholarship. So scholarship is usually if you are inclined, as I already told you, that Australia is highly, inclined towards research-based things. So they offer scholarships, and you can alleviate your financial burdens with that by assisting research people and taking correct, internship you cannot call, but that word perfectly we call it as fellowship with the professors, and you can help yourself reduce your financial burdens. One. Second, you can do is you can consider a part-time work. Now, here when I say part-time work, there are multiple opportunities, but one important criteria that is mentioned in the visa, and that is do not get into some wrong employers. Here, by this, I mean you have to play safe or think safely when you get into the employment there. Then, let me tell you, it should not first burden or it should be, this employment opportunity should complement your study schedule, any student's study schedule. It is very, very important. One. Second is, let's say there are popular part-time, as you said, are there really part-time job opportunities? Yes, there are a few. The popular ones are for the international students like Indians. One is in hospitality and retail sector. We can call it as handling some, grocery shop or some supermarkets, job at supermarkets, or maybe at baristas or wait staff, something like that, or maybe at being a sales assistant, such job, and your flexible hours are available there. One. Second, there is one which usually, if you are excelling in certain subjects, then you can at any point of time take tutoring there, which means around 20 to 30 Australian dollars per hour. So that is a good source of income. Okay. So there, yes, but at the same time, you will have to prioritize your studies along with work. You'll have to have that balance there. You have to create schedule and accommodate both the commitments. That is what I would say for prioritizing the time management there. At the same time, understand the work limitations, which others, as I already said, it should adhere the visa regulations, which are very, very important there. And here, let me mention one more thing. If you do not adhere this, you will have to pay penalty. So to avoid that penalty, you need to adhere the hours of work, visa work. As I said, it is 48 hours fortnightly or 24 hours. That is how it allows you to work.
Can you tell some insights on post-graduation visas? Like once they get done with their studies, most of the students are coming to settle over there. So how does
Yeah.
post-graduation visa works?
So here, what happens is post graduation, you have certain limitations in Australia, yes, but at the same time, you have certain time span to stay around in Australia. That is approximate 1 year. Okay. But at the same time, let me tell you, you will have to look into the job opportunities because on Australian work website, that's employment website, they list the requirement of the workers there. So yes, you can look into those requirements and change the accommodation. But when you change the accommodation, one important thing, for example, maybe you are studying into Sydney and you are changing your accommodation to Melbourne, which is 10 hours away. Sorry to say, but yes. This is one thing which you will have to notify to your every, institute. If you are taking transfer, internal transfer, or if you are joining some other professor out there for masters or PhD, or at the same time, maybe you are, changing the location for even residents, you need to inform in first 7 days to your institute or university there. So definitely, yes, there are work visa, but you have to search for or look out for the people, the employees who can uh, give you or sponsor you the correct visa, okay, work visa, which will help you to stay back after your studies at Australia.
So Mohini, coming back to the visa part. So let's assume a student is taking his or her bachelor's. So how much time can the student stay back after that in the country without any concerns?
Okay. So
Authorities?
so to be precise and to be corrected norms of the Australian government or Australian Ministry of Home Affairs, they have extended a time limit for 2 years for the bachelor's degree, 3 years for the master's degree, and 3 years for the students who have done their PhD or doctoral degree there in US. It can extend from 3 to 6 years also as well. And then there comes under, they come under certain criteria. If it is master's, as I already said, 3 years, doctoral is 6 years. There's separate criteria for staying back at Australia after your study. And your age limit should be, there is one more criteria about your age limit. Age limit should be below 50 years of age, and that is how you can. At the same time, you will have to. There is one more criteria, and that is you'll have to complete this education under the course or education under a CRICOS, CRICOS, under a CRICOS registered university. You will have to have that course taken under that particular criteria. Then you are allowed to stay back. And plus, as I said, you have to maintain your overseas student health insurance, which we also call as OSHC, that is overseas student health cover, which is required up to date, as I already told you about it, which should be very much up to date, definitely. And plus, there is one more thing that is assessed, and that is character. So character assessment is done, which provides, Australian police clearance to stay back. So there are certain things that are required, but at the same time, yes, they are being liberal with the certain criteria for bachelor's, master's, as I already told you.
Mohini, the final question, it's about PR in Australia. So most students wants to settle there permanently, and we have a huge Indian diaspora over there. So can you shed some light on securing the PR?
Okay, so there are several visa options which are available for international graduates. We being their international graduates, aiming for PR out there. So one is we have to look into skilled independent visa. One is that, which is coming under subclass 189, where we look into it's like the demand for skills. As I already spoke about, there is demand for your skill out there, and the requirement for the workers is or the employer, and the employer is the one who sponsors for your visa. One. Second is skill nominated visa that requires nomination by Australian state or maybe the territory that or a territory government, we call it, as and the applicants must have those skills relevant to those requirement of the what you call the territory government there. One, that is how you get PR. Third way of PR is again, they are all focused somewhere around your skill based PR you get, and it totally depends on the requirement of the country, whether they require this amount of uh, engineers, whether they require this amount of doctors, whether they require masters, bachelors, they require whoever, whomsoever. So it is their requirement on which they offer PR. And to qualify for PR, we have certain criteria. One is I already laid lot of focus on skill assessment, which is very, very important. One. Second, they have a test in English proficiency that is supposed to be given again for PR. Let me tell you, repeat it for PR, English language proficiency. And third is health and character certificates, which gives them a pathway to the PR, definitely. And one important criteria after that, that is the last one which I speak about, is financial requirements. So proof of funds that are increased to some, minimum expenses that you have in Australia. your living expenses are being mapped by the Australian government. Your last, records are being checked out by them, and you'll have to submit those records. That is how you get PR there.
Incredible
And
insight.
many other, I mean, there are lots of steps that are involved in it. Yes, but due to this, question that you have mentioned, I think I have covered major.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Mohini. A lot of incredible insights have come out. Mohini, can you tell us about the lifestyle over there in Australia? So a lot of Indian students are attracted there, and what make Australia such a nice, like the most recommended destination for Indian students?
So Australia is a multicultural society where they have a rich, uh, welcoming of different cultures and traditions. They do happily welcome different cultures and traditions. So they are very happy, friendly people. Otherwise, improving, there we can have. One important thing before going there is we can improve, English proficiency as per Australian norms. We can start speaking the local language out there, like the slang language out there, and you are just very much, incorporated with them easily. That is one tip I would like to give to my students. Definitely, building a social network is one thing that every student should look forward to. Joining clubs, societies which are related to their interest, and like-minded individuals. They can be there, similar-minded individuals out there. Understanding local customs is one important thing which I would like to speak about, where Australian customs, traditions, and ethics can be navigated by going to these clubs and having a social interaction there with everyone. That is how the Australia is. So it's all welcoming about, a rich tapestry of cultures and everything there.
Mohini, so a lot of aspiring students who are watching this video would love to know more about you and your brand. Uh, can you share some details about you?
Oh, that would be so nice of you. Definitely, I can. Yes, I think by now the students are very well prepared to embark on their successful journey to Australia. But yes, you can connect with me. I am Mohini Majithia. I'm engineer myself. I've done my software engineering. I've done my post graduation. But this was not all my calling, and that is why I tell students that follow your passion. My passion was guiding students towards their goals and towards guiding towards their path, where they are successful as well as we make them happy person. So yes, my brand is CloConn Careers. I am based at Navi Mumbai, Vashi, and you can connect with me at any point of time on my website as well as my number.
So thanks a lot one more time.